Hi, my name is Christopher Ward, and I'm going to show you a Unity tutorial on how to attach scripts and audio to a single object. So in our final version, we're going to have multiple sounds and colors play through by left-clicking on the single object. So to do this, we're going to create a new project by going to File, New Project, and we're going to go ahead and name this Unity Tutorial, but let's go ahead and make sure to put it in the right folder first so we can create our project. So once you get the name right, you can say create down here and make sure there is no checked checkboxes down in here because we don't want to import anything. So we're ready to go, and we're naming our project. And let's go ahead and create the project right here. And Unity should open up, like relaunch itself. And let's go ahead and start out by going to Game Object, 3D Object, and Cube, so we can make our cube shape here. And we got a cube, so let's go ahead and go to Scale, change all like X, Y, and Z to 5 to scale it up, and change the rotation to 45. So X, Y, and Z should be 45. And let's go ahead and add some light in here, since we'll just add some directional light. Let's go to Game Object, Light, and Directional Light. So we'll just have some kind of light go in there. But that's not important, so let's go ahead and save our scene here. So go to File, Save As, Save Scene As, and we're going to name this Unity Tutorial Project. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, and once you're done, click the Save button. And we got it in the right folder. It should be in the Assets folder, because we want it in the Assets folder to make it work inside our project. And let's go ahead and attach a script to the object. Click on the cube and then go ahead and add component. Go to New Script and create and add. Let's go ahead and name this ColorScript. So once we get our name done, we can actually hit create and add after we're done. Make sure it's C# language. So there we go. And the MonoBehaviour thing should come up once we're gonna edit it. So let's hit that little gear and hit Edit Script. So there we go. It should load up right now. And we're actually going to script the colors right now. So the first thing we want to do is highlight and delete between lines 6 and 14 to clear some of the code here. We could get rid of void, start, and update. So there we go. Alright, we're on line 6, and now we can put in our array here. So we'll say color, colors, new color, and let's say Color.red, Color.yellow, and Color.green. So we're going to code that in right now. And that should be our array for our 3 colors. Alright. So once we get that done, we can now make sure all the syntax is right. Okay. And let's go ahead and create a counter. We'll say integer counter 0. No, integer counter equals 0. There we go. And let's go ahead and make a function down here. We'll name this void OnMouseOver. And this function should, detect in Unity where the mouse is hovering over the object. So let's go ahead and put some curly braces in there, and let's go ahead and put in our if statement inside our MonoBehaviour function. So we're going to say if Input.GetMouseButtonDown 0, and 0 means the left button. So I'm seeing if that's correct, if our syntax is right. And there we go. Let's go ahead and just clean it up a bit, kind of line it right. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our curly braces right after. And I like to align it just like that, just to make it look just aligned right. So in there we're going to have our switch counter, and this will actually, we're going to actually make some cases here so we can actually change the color around here. So make sure you have your curly braces and then start typing your cases in there. So we'll say case 0, and then the next line we'll say renderer.material.color equals color index 0, because we're pulling it from the red color. Alright, so let's make sure everything is lined up right, and let's see, we're pointing it to that index there. Alright, so let's go down to the next line, and we're going to actually write a debug log so we can keep track of what's going on here. So I'm going to say debug.log parentheses, quotations red, red is inside quotations, plus counter, parentheses, and semicolon, because we're trying to get red, we're trying to print red and then print whatever counter that came out to be. So let's go ahead and test that. Well, we'll test that in a bit because we haven't really finished it, but it will be tested inside. So we're going to have break down there to end the case 0. So essentially we're going to do the same thing 2 more times, and we're going to say case 1, and then we're going to go down the next line and say renderer.material.color equals color index 1. Alright, so we'll say that is pointing to yellow. So we could point it to yellow. Alright, so we're going to go to the next line and have the same debugger so we can see it in our console, so we can actually see how that works. So debug.log, yellow, it's all in quotations, plus counter. And then we'll have break again to break off that case. And then we'll have another case. This is going to be our last case. We'll call it case 2. And then right after that, we're going to have the same thing like the other 2 cases. We're going to say renderer.material.color equals color with the index 2. And there we go. And now it is going to point to the green color. So let's go and hit debug.log green in quotations plus counter. And then we'll say break for that one as well. So now we've got our switch statement, our cases, and they should match up with the counter, and the switch statement will actually see if it's counting. So make sure you end it with a curly brace for the switch statement. Okay, and make sure to type in the next line of code. We're going to say counter plus plus because we're actually adding 1 each time it goes through. And then we'll have an if statement in here. We'll say if counter equals 3, because on the third count it would reset counter back to 0. So we'll say on the last line counter equals 0 right there. So make sure your curly braces align right, and you should be good to go. So let's go ahead and test this baby out and see how it goes. I'm just gonna line these things and before I test it out, because I like to be all nice and neat in the code. And I'll have the code posted in the video description if you like. So we'll save it and let's go ahead and play it. So it looks like it ran with no errors, and we actually are cycling through all the colors right now. This is pretty awesome. We got red, yellow, green, and you can actually see it in the console right there. It's saying red 0 for the 0th count, yellow 1 for the 1st count, and green 2 for the 3rd count. So there we go. It's pretty awesome. We attached multiple colors on a single object. This is a you could do pretty cool things with this. You could trigger something in a game, let's say changing a texture or something. But now for the fun part, let's go ahead and add some audio. So let's go ahead and say new. We'll right click and make sure you import it, the sound. We have a sound folder. And let's go ahead and add audio 1 and audio 2 and audio 3.mp3s in there. Alright, so there we go. They're all in the assets folder, and now we gotta code it in somewhat and put it in the inspector so Unity recognizes it. So let's go ahead and say add component, and let's say audio source, and let's go ahead and do that. And make sure you click on that little white little circle thing, and then click on the first audio. So let's go ahead and uncheck that. Make sure play on awake checkbox is off because you don't want the sound to start playing automatically in the beginning. So let's go ahead and click on the code again, and we're going to add some lines of code here to make it so you can see the like an extra text box come in the script component. So let's go ahead and add a public AudioClip audio 1, and there we go. And this should actually kind of share with the component in the inspector. So in the actual line of code in case 0, we're going to say audio.clip equals audio 1 because we're pulling that audio 1. And then the next line, we're going to say audio.play, and then that actually plays the sound once it's triggered at that moment in time. And we'll save it, and then let's go ahead and do a quick test before we link it in the script here. So audio 1, we have to match that up with audio 1 in the inspector. So let's go to do a quick test here and see if the sound works. Yep, it works. So now all we have to do is do the same exact thing for the other two sounds, and let's do that right now. Let's go ahead and add audio source and add the second audio there, and uncheck that awake box. And let's see, nothing is checked here, so make sure if that's okay. Okay, let's go back to our code, and let's type in public AudioClip audio 2 semicolon. And again, I'll have the code in the video description if you want to look at it more thoroughly. So there we go. And we're going to add the same thing in the case 1. We're going to say audio.clip equals audio 2, and then audio.play on the next line, so we can actually play that sound when it's triggering that color. So we're going to play that again, And let's see. Before we play that again, we have to go to our script component and link it up. So our public class thing linked up with audio 2. So there we go. They both work. Now we got to do the last one. The green color is the last thing to do. Let's go ahead and add audio component and do the third audio source. There we go. Uncheck the awake, play on awake checkbox. And let's go back to our code one last time. And under here again, we're going to say public AudioClip audio 3. And then again for the last case, we'll say audio.clip equals audio 3. And then the next line we'll say audio.play. All right, there we go. And that should do the trick. All right. And make sure everything is lined up right. So now they all link up in the inspector because of that public. Actually, I think it's the component, so there we go. And let's go ahead and make sure that extra space is gone. And everything looks all organized. Let's go ahead and save it. And we're ready to test this bad boy, and we're ready to link. I think we did. We're going to link up the last one here. There we go. We got to link it up because there's no audio source. So we got to say link to script audio 3. And let's save our scene. And let's play it one last time. And there we go. It's working. All the sounds and all the colors match up with each left click. And you could do a lot of interesting things with this in like a game engine. Well, you could make, I don't know, a radio or some kind of trigger point or puzzle game. Who knows? Possibilities are endless. And I'm just playing around here a bit with the color, the cube. It's pretty cool. So I hope this helped, and thank you for watching. And oh yeah, and if you need to download the sounds, go to flashkit.com. That's where I downloaded my audio. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.